Visit our sponsor, Bonner & Partners, right now at cashcutoff.com. That's cashcutoff.com. Bill Bonner's research network predicted the fall of the Soviet Union, the rise of Muslim terrorism, the Japanese crash, and the financial meltdown of 2008. Now his firm Bonner & Partners has published a more dire warning. What happens in the event your ATM doesn't work, your credit card is denied? What if you can't sell your investments? Although this might sound implausible to some, it's a very real possibility. A run on cash. Think about it. How do you pay for goods and services if credit doesn't work? Who among you, your friends and family, actually have more than a few dollars in their pocket? Claim your full intelligence file right away. Get 4 research reports, plus the free book, Hormageddon, and a 12-month all-access pass to the Bill Bonner letter for just $49. It's risk-free for 60 days. Get the Great American Credit Collapse, the Crisis Money Guide, how to get your own homestead on the cheap, and much more. Click the link below right now to register at cashcutoff.com. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is Wednesday, and today you're going to learn about the Brexit, and I think even a bigger prediction that'll probably just gloss over most people's heads, because most of the people in America and abroad are total idiots. They're dipshits, they're retarded, and they don't understand a gosh darn thing about anything. You know, I was really irritated yesterday, the whole, result of the Orlando shooting and now the new unearthed, engineered gun debate, because of course we know Barack Obama has wanted our guns since the very day he took the Oval Office. Even Rolling Stone came out with an article from like a constitutional professor who, I don't know how you could be a constitutional professor and want to repeal the Second Amendment, but it's actually what this dipshit wants to do. Because most of the time, honestly, and I'm pretty humble about this, but most of the time, if I enter a room with other people in it, I'm the smartest guy there. Literally. But today I'm going to talk about the Brexit, which is coming June 23rd, although I think it's unlikely that the UK will leave, because again, that would be counterintuitive to this New World Order paradigm of total Orwellian control and the destruction of borders and countries and sovereignty. I mean, that's why George Soros is funding this massive immigration and jihad terrorism, not just into Europe, but also the United States of America. But on June 23rd, there's going to be a vote. And recent polling has suggested that Brits, actually, a majority of them now, want to leave. So I think it's unlikely that the UK leaves, even though that's what the people want. And they would actually be better off if they did. Again, this whole European Union experiment has been a disease. It hasn't worked at all. It's why we currently have negative interest rates in Europe and Japan, for instance, and soon to be potentially here in the United States. Which brings me to the prediction part of the equation in today's video. And again, this will probably gloss over most people's heads. U.S. Treasury debt is no longer a riskless asset. Let me repeat that. U.S. Treasury debt, bonds. You know what your grandma and grandpa used to invest in to actually get a return on their money, but you can't do that anymore because rates are at zero and the U.S. federal government is stealing from you in the form of quantitative easing, is no longer a riskless asset, which means at some point in your lifetime, in the not too distant future, it's going to default. And it's going to have dramatic, dire consequences for not just the U.S. economy, but the global economy at large. The reason being for all this is all this funny money spending, QE to infinity, Operation Twist, soon to potentially be negative interest rates here in the United States, mirroring what we're already seeing across the pond, and again, places like Japan. Now, people laughed at me when I talked about this years ago, that we could potentially have negative interest rates in the United States, that 7-8 years post this artificial recovery and engineered heist that made up 2008, and that financial Armageddon that we could get here. And it's exactly what we're staring at today as we approach the edge of the cliff, just like Europe, just like the United Kingdom. You know, it's amazing that the American people actually have faith in the U.S. government and their banksters. You know, I talked about this years ago. I mean, really, all these bailouts and financial engineering and the collapse of 2008-09 proved it really only encouraged the youth in America today and around the world to become banksters. Because it's the only position that you can take where you can take overt criminal and commit overt criminal acts and not be punished for them. I mean, what's happened to any of the banksters that ripped you off in 2008 and 2009? Nothing. Nothing at all. They're sailing their yachts. Nothing ever happens. The same thing with these politicians. Even though they intentionally bankrupted America, intentionally stole from you, are continuing to steal from you with 0% interest rates because pensioners can't get a return on their investment. People in elder age groups can't get a return on their investment, can't retire because they can't get even a measly 3 to 5% rate of return on investment without taking a necessary risk in the U.S. stock market. Again, all of it's going to collapse. It's going to make 2008, 2009, make it look like a church picnic. You know, remember in 1991, there was a hedge fund, long-term capital management, that honestly almost bankrupted the entire world. There was a bailout as a result. The banks at the time voted to bail this hedge fund out. And then that was followed by the 2008-2009 financial collapse, where every single financial institution across the globe was facing sequential collapse. I mean, you can't even make this shit up. It's the absolute truth. And now it's a new la-la land post 7-8 years of this artificial recovery. They're considering 0% interest rates, a freaking BREXIT on June 23rd, soon to be potentially negative interest rates here in the United States, and what I believe to be a sovereign default here in the United States in the not too distant future. And it's like everything's rosy again. It's like one giant candy land. Terror attack after terror attack in places like Orlando. And of course, these liberal assholes want your guns because it's always been the intention. They say things like the Constitution's outdated. It's an archaic document. And the Founding Fathers never could have predicted, semi-automatic and automatic weapons. Well, you know what? The Founding Fathers also couldn't have predicted a mass surveillance state, something that even Donald Trump wants. He spoke yesterday and says there isn't enough surveillance. That's his argument as a result of these tragic terror attacks. He's protecting the Second Amendment, which I appreciate, but he doesn't think there's enough surveillance. The surveillance state isn't doing enough, he says. Yeah, that's right. They're not tuning in enough via our cell phones, illegally, anti-constitutionally, watching you as you make love to your wife or your husband, or taking a shit on the pot. There's not enough of it. Yeah, of course our Founding Fathers couldn't predict this new technology, but they could predict human nature, which is exactly why they gave us the freaking Second Amendment in the first place. It's exactly why they gave us freedom of speech, so that hopefully we could ward off tyranny in the future. And it's exactly what we have today. Tyranny in the United States of America, tyranny in Europe. And all these people want is further integration of this New World Order paradigm. They want to eradicate borders, sovereign nations, which is exactly what they've accomplished. And they want to penetrate the United States and Europe with jihadi terrorism for a reason, because it creates instability and a justification to take more and more of your freedoms away. And it's exactly what they're accomplishing. Hook, line, and sinker. Because most Americans and most Europeans are dipshits. And like I said, when I enter a room, 99.9% of the time, I'm the smartest guy there. That's the hardcore truth. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard hitting it in your face. And click the link below to support our sponsor.